Hello, hello. What's up, you guys? This is your girl, Megan. Welcome back to the Hood Astro Queen, to all of my returning subscribers. But if this is your first time on my page today, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your way in because you know you want to. So today I'm taking a look at the birth chart of Miss Reginae, aka Reginae, aka Call Your Daddy, Carter. Okay, the daughter of world-renowned rapper Lil Wayne. She has found her way in the headlines once more for her relationship or lack thereof, okay, with ATL-based rapper YFN Lucci. So this has kind of been a long time coming because she, as well as YFN Lucci, have been back and forth publicly. Like, they do this makeup to break up thing. She'll hop on social media and swear up and down he's a clown. But then, you know, she'll be seen with him later on. Or in this case, she was seen at a cucumber party despite the fact that she avidly took a stance against it a few weeks ago, and people were calling her out on that and viewed her as a hypocrite. Well, it came to light that she was actually there to spy on her ex-boyfriend. Surprise, surprise. I mean, first off, people were kind of already sketchy about them as a couple. Number one, due to him being like 10 years her senior. For me personally, that's not such a huge deal as long as she's legal. Like, as long as she's the legal age of consent, it is what it is. Because I know I've dated older guys as a younger woman. However, okay, those teeth. Okay, I don't know if he has veneers or like what the teeth is, but his teeth are the same size as Donkey from Shrek. And I know for a fact he scrapes the inside of her uterus. He has to whenever he's munching on the box. That is the most disturbing part to me. I can't get over it. I don't see it. What makes him attractive? I don't get it. But then again, it's not for me to get. So whatever. However, he also has like 50,000 children, okay, by several different women. So, of course, people already looked at the relationship in a negative light. So now that he clearly has issues committing, because people would spot him at strip clubs, they would spot him, on live stream, watching women do the cucumber challenge and various other places that most men who are actually in relationships with women that they love and respect, what they don't do. So, he already kind of has this reputation for being a cheater. And at this point, Reginae loves to call him a clown, but most people are looking at her like, sis, go grab your red nose, okay? Put on your wig because you're part of the show, okay? You're part of the circus. Y'all are clowns together. I, however, empathize with the fact that she is young, okay? She's young. She does look stupid, but most of us have had the luxury of looking stupid in private, because we're not celebrities or our parents aren't celebrities. So I will give her that. I do empathize and sympathize with her on certain levels. However, in light of this most recent controversy with her sneaking into the cucumber challenge party, I wanted to look at her birth chart just to see what's going on, like what's the tea, and why does she seem to be having such a difficult time in her relationship. So Miss Reginae Carter was born on November 29th, 1998, a day after mine. She's a Sag. The girls are gagging. But yeah, so her son is at the 7th degree of Sagittarius, which, I mean, that deals with her dad being like a world-renowned rock star. Because, I mean, Sagittarius is the rock star of the zodiac. Not to mention it deals with like being like a world-renowned act, a world act, international act. And then that number 7 deals with musicianship. So there's that. But the first thing that popped out at me was the fact that her son makes an exact conjunction with her Pluto, both at the 7th degree of Sag. And that could point towards her, because the sun deals with the men in your life. Yes, the father, but also if you were to get married, your husband, and so on and so forth, prominent men in your life. It could deal with her naturally having men in her life who have a very uncompromising need for freedom. I mean, this aspect can also definitely deal with her dad being a very prominent and affluent person or a very powerful celebrity in the music industry. But it also deals with her forming these bonds and relationships with men that are going to be very transformative. Okay, because that's that power of Pluto. Very transformative and can even be self-destructive, built off of like manipulation, power struggles, all kinds of stuff like that. I mean, it could even point towards her dealing with men who dabble in crime. Pluto does deal with criminality. And oddly enough, I believe Lucci, his vehicle, got shot up like earlier this year. So that's something to think about. Now, her Venus is conjoined to her Pluto, which, it reinforces this theme of her dealing with very transformative relationships, but also attracting relationships that are going to be fueled like by drama, because that's the effect of Pluto as well. Very much, because Pluto is all about death and rebirth. So there is like this subconscious undercurrent that causes one to either be the one who kind of like starts drama in a relationship, or you find yourself attracted to relationships or situations where there's going to be like a lot of back and forth. There are just these epic highs, very, very low lows, it craves intensity and, deep experiences. And one of the worst manifestations of this energy is abuse, domestic violence. Now, I'm not saying that she's being abused. We have no proof of that, so I'm not trying to just jump out the window with that assertion, but I'm just saying that this energy signature in the worst case scenario can create that. It can create very dysfunctional, volatile, toxic relationships, period. Now, something else that's interesting, especially with her Venus being in Sagittarius, it deals with dating outside of your culture. And funny enough, YFN Lucci is originally Jamaican. Okay, he's from Atlanta, but by way of Jamaica. And he is very in touch with his Jamaican roots, and he often goes back. And I believe she even accompanied him on one of his visits back home to Jamaica. So that's interesting as well. But Venus and Sagittarius can create a very like all or nothing approach to love. It can create somebody who is very high strung in relationships, and they have high expectations. That's that optimism of Sagittarius. And it could definitely set resume up for some major disappointments, especially considering the fact that Venus in Sagittarius tends to attract partners who are not available to settle down. It can also produce a lot of long distance affairs. But despite her tendency to attract men who are just not capable of committing or who have issues being monogamous with this placement, she tends to be very much like all about her partner. This especially Venus conjoined to Pluto, and even to a certain extent Sun conjoined to Pluto, it can make her very gung-ho and even obsessive. And Pluto does deal with bonds, so it could just make her very like absorbent and attached to her partner, and really just creating a situation to where her entire life revolves around a nigga. And that's not smart. And as I stated before, with that archer aiming high for the sky expectations, these men that she's dealing with are not likely to meet those. So, it literally just leaves her feeling stupid in the end. It does explain her inability to really just like make a clean break from him for once and for all, like that makeup to breakup thing, because in a way it kind of makes them addicted to one another. Like I said, that Pluto energy is very obsessive and very intense, and like, you know, once again, in some of the worst case scenarios, it can create like stalking tendencies, you know, by either party. So this is like a very karmic, heavy karmic type of relationship. Also, her Venus is squaring her Jupiter, which is at the 18th degree of Pisces. Now this really highlights the fact that Reginae is gullible as fuck. Her ability to be exploited in a relationship is like, I mean, it skyrockets with this aspect, especially with Jupiter. The number 18 in general is a very challenging number because it deals you being surrounded by shady characters, people who don't have your best interests at heart, and Pisces and Jupiter create someone who is naturally susceptible to be lied to be swindled, to be taken advantage of, being victimized in her relationship. Pisces does deal with victimization. It could also deal with her being gullible, being lied to. It could also produce like long distance situations. It reinforces that. So I don't know where she lives, like on a day-to-day basis versus where YFN Lucci lives, or like what arrangement they got going on with that. But yeah, it basically increases the chances of him cheating while he's not with her. It does point towards or reinforces there being an issue with freedom. You know, that theme of Sagittarius and Jupiter, like him really being headstrong and willful when it comes to his freedom. It can produce somebody who gets lied to, you know, and it does bring about scandal. It also doesn't help that her Jupiter is squaring her ascendant, you know, so and it just reinforces this kind of, first of all, this princess type of persona, this princess mindset, right? Because she's always been, oh, I'm gonna tell my daddy, do you know who my daddy is? You know, it's all about her being taken care of. The number 18 is also extremely materialistic, so it can deal with that as well, but it does touch on this sense of naivety that she has to her, and it just makes her a prime candidate of being like fucked over and fucked on. That's just really what that is. Also, her Mars is at the 1st degree of Libra, which can also make somebody very much like their lives centered around relationships. And in certain ways, Mars Libra people do have the tendency to like find out who they are and learn themselves by way of their relationships. But you know, I mean, there's that, and it can obviously produce somebody who like needs a man. You know, Mars does represent men as well. A woman who needs a man, a woman who needs relationships, or who's constantly, or she's in a relationship, she can be in codependent relationships. So there's that. And looking at YFN Lucci's chart, who was born on February 18th, 1991, that number 18 right there, you know, there goes that again. But then also, you know, those Sun conjoined South Node relationships always fail, just because you're not able to grow with that person. They definitely represent the early part of your life, you know, and they could have very well had like a past life experience together. That's why they feel so close. That could be another reason why it's so hard for them to just like completely walk away from one another. But it does solidify the fact that he's unavailable to her, or that he will be moving forward, like emotionally unavailable to her. So if she wants to unlock that Leo North Node and really strive for a career, you know, I mean, honestly, I could so see Reginae, you know, she says she wants to act. that's Leo North Node all day. But in order for her to fully activate that Leo North Node and become a celebrity in her own right, she's going to have to ditch him. She's going to have to ditch this relationship. And he's definitely going to hold her back from that. And his Mars is in Gemini. Like, and I mean, honestly, I question his sexuality. You know, Sun at the 29th degree of Aquarius, Mars in Gemini. Like, really? His Venus is in Pisces, which, I mean, that points towards him being in relationships where he feels like, I mean, either where the woman is viewed as his escapism from the world, or he could be in relationships to where he feels like indebted. You know what I'm saying? Like where he feels like he's imprisoned. He's also an Aries moon, and it's squaring his Neptune. Well, we're going to disregard that because we don't know exactly what degree his moon is in because we don't have his birth time. So fine. Even taking that out, his moon is also squaring his Chiron in Cancer. This nigga got issues with women just in general. So, like, yeah, like, that's a no, sis. And then with her being born on the 29th, that number 29 deals with third-party interferences. So, like, Reginae is going to have to be very careful, very discerning in who she chooses to entertain. And, yeah, all that Sagittarian energy in her chart, I know it's difficult to take a more cynical approach to love and relationships, but I'm going to need her to try. And the first step is getting rid of this nigga. Because he got you looking like a clown, sis. Straight clown, okay? That Jupiter in Pisces is all about public scandal and embarrassment. And there will be plenty more of that to come if you continue to deal with him. So, yeah. That concludes my reading for Miss Reginae Quada. Y'all drop down in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought about the reading. And as always, practice unconditional self-love so that you can love others. And until next time, I holla.